Am I the a-hole? I ruined my best friend's relationship with her family. Hi guys, been stalking this sub for a few months now and thought I'd ask some opinions on something that happened last September. So I, 25F, was asked to be maid of honor at my best friend's, 25F, wedding. We'll call her Alice. For some background, Alice is drop-dead gorgeous. She straight up looks like a petite Barbie doll, and everyone knows it and tells her. I, on the other hand, am not conventionally attractive. I'm obese, have acne, frizzy hair, etc. Alice is the only person that's never made me feel ugly and sees me as the most beautiful person in her life inside and out. It's one of the reasons I love her. But, because of the obvious appearance differences, we get compared a lot, usually at the expense of my self-esteem. Anyways, it's a week or so out to the wedding and everyone's getting together to help plan, celebrate, etc. This was my first time meeting any of her family except her parents. I decided to go to the bathroom and on my way back, I overhear some of Alice's family, aunts, grandma, and cousin, firmly but lovingly asking her to replace me as Mo because I don't match, I'll look ugly in the pictures, etc. NGL, this hurt. Thankfully Alice shut them down real quick and told them to stop being so cruel and that I was her Mo no matter what because I'd earned the title. I spent the rest of the night kind of sullen because it sucked hearing them talk about me like that, but I was trying to get past it. Then her aunt looks at me and says, "Hey up, I have a friend with really good Spanx that'll make you look a lot skinnier under your dress if you want her number," and her daughter followed it up with, "And I could probably help you wrangle that rat's nest on your head before the wedding," and then they both laughed. I was mortified and angry. I told them to shut their mouths and basically told them I overheard what they said earlier too, and they were way too old to be acting like bigoted mean girls. I also had some cuss words slipped in. Alice immediately jumped to my defense and demanded they leave. Fast forward to the wedding, those family members didn't show. They also got 3 of her bridesmaids, other cousins, and 2 groomsmen to drop out. Alice took it all in stride and assured me she didn't want them here anyways if they didn't support her or me. They all called her a bridezilla and slammed her on Facebook. To this day, they still don't talk to her and apparently family gatherings are tense. Lots of people don't show if she is and she has decided not to go to as many anymore. I feel so guilty for ruining her relationships with her family and ruining her wedding. They may have acted like mean girls but I resorted right into acting like an insecure child. In the moment it felt justified to retaliate, but seeing the consequences it's had on Alice makes me feel like I way overreacted to some catty jokes. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for not having toys for visitors? This has caused some conflict in the family. My husband and I have no children, but a bunch of nieces and nephews. One of my in-laws in particular, when they visits with their multitude of children, they don't bring any toys for the kids. We don't have kids, so we don't have toys. All our other visitors always bring toys for their children. This has resulted in in-laws' kids actually taking all of the toys of a visiting toddler and making them cry. I don't feel like we should have to provide toys, since we don't have kids and we have no idea what will be enjoyable or age-appropriate. Am I the a-hole? Edit, thank you all for your reality check. Nothing like a family argument to make you feel like a crazy person, am I right? Am I the a-hole telling my parents I am not gay? I'm 24M, dating a 24F, I found a good woman and I am so excited. I have had my share of shit relationships, my last one ended horribly. This relationship is going to last and I really see no end in sight. Anyways, my mum and stepdad couldn't wait to meet her. My girlfriend is a black woman and I am a white man. We are often made aware of those two facts. Either people think she hit the jackpot for getting the white boy or I'm so bold for seeing past color, weirdos. Regardless of that though I was never raised with race issues. I'm not going to say that I don't see color, I absolutely see that as a white man I have so many privileges different from her. I mean, one time she went to a store and found a beautiful dress on clearance, but they wouldn't sell it to her because they thought it was a mistake. But I went back later when she came home fuming over it, and I went back and they sold it to me for the clearance price. Ridiculous. I say all that to say this: because of situations like that, I am very sensitive. So we get to my mother's house, and her mouth is literally on the floor, which isn't a reaction I am used to seeing when people see my beautiful girlfriend. My mother greets my girlfriend and the first thing she does is touch her hair. My girlfriend has a faded haircut. This is strike one for me, because my girlfriend cut her hair off so that people would stop petting her like a zoo animal. My mother calls for my stepfather, and he too drops his jaw too. I'm feeling pretty accomplished. My girlfriend and my brother go to another room, so that they can smoke and chat. My mother says to me, I never assumed that to be your type, and I wanna know just what she means. Tall? Skinny? Beautiful? My stepfather tells me you should really warn people before you bring someone like that around. Well, I took that to mean, boy, you better keep that one close. My mother says it's obvious that I am hiding something and using this girl to test my luck. I ask them to be clear, because if my girlfriend is not welcomed here, we can go. My dad says, come on son, that ain't no woman's haircut and she's skinny as can be, and I'm lost because I really think they have an issue with my girlfriend's skin color. Mom then says, look, we know you are gay and that's fine, but you don't have to pull stunts like this to see if you can shock us, okay? So they thought that I brought home someone who looks more like a boy because I am really gay. I was so infuriated because my girlfriend's short hair doesn't make her masculine and I am also not gay. I blew up on them and we left. Now a lot of my family is saying AITA because a lot of them thought I was gay. They also think I was already on edge because of the things I stated earlier. So am I wrong for blowing up on my parents for thinking I am gay? I am absolutely not against LGBT at all, I am just not a part of that group. Update: I really want to thank you all for your comments and clarity. Someone brought up a killer point: my parents are more comfortable if I was gay than in love with a black woman. I also want to state my family assumes I am gay because I buy scented lotions, soaps and I dress nice. I was also the boy that hung out with the women. Update: again, thank you so much to those that have commented and gave their opinion. I am not trying to seem like a white savior at all. I am educating myself to meet my partner's needs. I am also not performing my allyship with LGBTQ. I have been harassed, I have been beaten up because someone assumed I am gay. I wouldn't wish that kind of pain on anyone. AITA for placing a parental lock on my network because my brother won't keep quiet. I, 21 meters, have been working from my parents' home for the past 3 months during normal office hours. I normally am asleep by 1 and wake up around 7:30. My brother, 18 meters, does not currently work, so he is often playing games until late hours. I normally have no problem with this, but sometimes he can get loud and it keeps me from sleeping. I'll usually ask him once or twice to be quieter until I can fall asleep, and since I'm a pretty heavy sleeper it doesn't bother me as much after I'm asleep. This was fine until this morning, where he woke me up at 5 a.m. being loud. I went to ask him to please be quieter, and he did not respond. I assumed he heard and went back to bed. 40 minutes later, I wake up to him yelling at his friends playing games. I went over to ask him to be quiet again and he told me I'm having fun playing with friends, so I'm not going to be quiet. He proceeded to continue to be loud, and I didn't end up getting back to sleep before my alarm went off. My parents wouldn't be of any help either, as I've asked them to talk to him and either they don't or he doesn't listen. I can easily set up a filter on our router to block all network traffic to his PC, and I was thinking of setting it up to block network traffic from 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. It would be the only guaranteed way I can think of to keep him quiet, since he doesn't want to listen to reason anymore. So, AITA? Edit: I forgot to include some crucial info in the post, so I'm posting one of my comments here with regards to who pays for the internet. And GT, neither of us. I'm a full-time student during the school year and I make my money for my other expenses, car, phone, share of food, during the summer doing internships, which this current job is, but my parents pay for the internet. My brother just graduated in June and hasn't applied to any post-secondary or jobs yet, so he just stays home playing games. Am I the a-hole for crying deliberately when my boss takes out his temper at me? I have a job that I am currently doing remotely. My boss has a real nasty temper. He is very quick to scream at someone, berate them, call them stupid, worthless or incompetent, etc. I am looking for a new job right now, but it is hard to get a job with the amount of unemployment and financial struggle going on in my area currently. A month ago, I was having a bad week. My best friend was in the hospital after a bad car accident. My boyfriend had left me. When I filed my taxes, I found out that I owed over $1,000 and money was extremely tight. I had not been able to afford an appointment with my therapist in over a month. So I was at my breaking point. I was so worried for my friend, lonely after being dumped, worried about making my bills that month, etc. And my boss started yelling at me in a Zoom call about something. I'd been having a tough day anyway, and I just broke down and cried. I stopped responding to him in any meaningful way, just kinda going blank and sobbing as he got really awkward about it. I've honestly often felt like I've wanted to cry when he goes off like that, but I always held it back. That was the first time I just couldn't. I felt so embarrassed. He ended the call and I laid down in bed for a bit and cried. Then a few days later, I realized it was actually the only thing that had ever gotten him to stop before screaming for such a while. Under 5 minutes, and he'd honestly seemed embarrassed and not knowing how to handle it. So the next time he lost his temper, a few weeks later, I wasn't feeling quite so sad. I could have controlled it. But I just let all my fear and tension and stress out and started quietly tearing up. And he again shut up and hung up. 2 weeks later he started to go off on me about something that I hadn't even done, and I just took a deep breath, like I was feeling bad, and he actually clammed the hell up. It was bizarre, and it was like he didn't know how to handle someone getting sad instead of angry and felt embarrassed or something. And it's been the longest it's ever been that he hasn't freaked out on me or a group I've been in. I was laughing about it with one of my friends, like what a fucking blowhard who tries to upset people but doesn't know what to do when someone actually looks upset. And she thought it was weirdly manipulative to act like I'm gonna lose it whenever he does that. Am I the a-hole for looking like I'm gonna cry on purpose after I accidentally found out it's the only thing that makes my boss feel actually bad about berating me for a long time? Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter to leave her stepmother alone and stop bad-mouthing her? My daughter's wedding was last October. My wife, her stepmother, is a hairdresser, so my daughter asked her to color her hair. My daughter is naturally blonde and wanted even blonder hair. I don't know what went wrong, but my daughter's hair got damaged only 10 days before the wedding. It was a complete disaster and the most of her hair has since been cut off. Come to find out, my daughter had done some hair treatment a year prior and it reacted badly with the hair coloring. My daughter is adamant she told my wife about it, but my wife says that's not the case. My daughter was understandably distraught. But she started accusing my wife of doing it on purpose. I know it was a bad situation, but my wife has never been anything but kind to my daughter, which was why I married her in the first place. My wife was inconsolable when it happened. She apologized over and over. She bought a $1,200 hairpiece for the wedding and we gave the photographer another $1,000 to do any retouching on my daughter's hair to make it look perfect. It wasn't ideal, but we didn't know what else to do. My daughter was uncomfortable throughout the wedding and confronted us at our home a few days later and screamed at my wife for ruining her wedding. My wife was literally unable to sleep, so we wrote my daughter a check for everything the wedding cost, hoping that it might help us come together again. But it has not helped at all. My daughter continued to tell everyone my wife did it on purpose. My wife's business was flooded with bad reviews by my daughter's friends and she had to shut down last January. My wife has since become very depressed and withdrawn. 2 months ago, my daughter sent out around 50 wedding pictures in a WhatsApp group that has over 30 family members, and my wife was not in any of them. Someone commented about it and she responded with, "I don't need my dad's bitch wife in my wedding pictures." I admit I lost my cool and I wrote the following message. "That is enough." Sarah has been beside herself over this. She has apologized more than 100 times. And the money we gave you to pay for your entire wedding was half from her too. That was money we were not able to spare, especially now. I'm sorry things happened that way they did, but it was an honest mistake. There comes a time where it's time to move on. Stop bad-mouthing your stepmother and leave her alone. I thought I raised you to have more compassion than this. I then received a bunch of messages from my daughter and ex-wife which I have refused to respond to. Was I wrong to write that? I don't deny that my daughter has a right to be angry. But to continually attack my wife for an accident for this long isn't okay. My daughter has basically cut me off. My wife is still extremely affected by this. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more juicy Reddit relay content.